bear, a bit of a tough loss in the end. What do you take out of a game like today?
To be honest, it just shows we're not right up to the mark at the moment. We've got a lot of work to do. Our fundamentals were poor. It comes back to how we've probably trained the last couple of weeks in terms of our ground stuff's been pretty poor. Our kicking execution's been down, so we're obviously, and probably combined with just playing with no confidence as well, so just everything just compounds on top of each other.
There were patches there where you were able to sort of restrict the flow of the Tigers for sort of 5-10 minutes at a time, particularly I think early in the third.
Yeah, probably even in the start of the last quarter. We just getting it in there early, and then we just can't finish our work off. So which is, I've said all season, scoreboard pressure is the greatest form of pressure, and it's just a bit deflating when you go back and have a set shot and sort of missed. I think we kicked 3 or 4 points the first 5 minutes of the third quarter, and even the last quarter. Obviously the game was gone, but we're getting it inside. Blokes have set shots on goal and they miss, so that's really disappointing.
You must take out of it that the body language of the boys was still up and about at the 3/4 time huddle. That's got to be a positive.
Yeah, it is. I think we brought in 3 more teenagers today, so it's not an excuse. It's just what we had out there on the day. It's like we were very, very young, probably the youngest side we've had even in the 2 years that I've been the coach. So I thought those young guys showed signs, like Mac Evans showed a couple of good signs. Neo Butler was lively. He's only 16, but he plays with a fair bit of flair, and Kurt Mason wasn't too bad down back. So they've experienced how hard senior footy is, and the usual cliches, we've just got to stick together.
I thought your leaders sort of stood up at key times. I thought McCulloch was good, and also Daly. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, and Hugh Williams Senior, obviously the skipper. They set the benchmark on how they train. So there's, it shows out on the ground how good a players are. They're not just a good player; they work exceptionally hard during the week, and their preparation's as good as any. So I can't fault the leaders at the moment.
Sitting winless early, I guess you got the bye next week. What do you sort of use that time to I guess the messages that you put forward to the boys, and how you tackle after the bye?
Yeah, I mean, I said the bye's come at a good time. We lost 4 players through injury after we picked the initial 22, so it's always hard when there were 7 changes today, which makes it tough. So a bit of luck after the bye, we get some personnel back, but that's just no excuse for. Our fundamentals have just been really poor the last 2 weeks, so as a coaching group we have to take responsibility for that and make sure the next, we'll sort of, especially next week, we'll focus on just really practicing our fundamentals, so it leads us into having a really good week the week after, where we take on Clarence.
Looks like the Dev League boys have been playing alright. Could we expect to see a few more debutants in the coming weeks or months?
Yeah, I mean, the beauty with the Dev League at the moment, obviously they lost today, but the blokes that have been sending back and the guys that are actually coming in have been in really good form. Like obviously last year we're non-competitive in the Dev League, so blokes went back, we're just coming in, basically giving them token games of senior footy, which is not how you want. But the guys that have come in are coming back in form, and they're like Harry Island's a good example of that. We sent him back after round 1, and I thought he battled pretty manfully. So after the bye, there's potential for Caswell to come in, Young comes back in, Divinito comes back in, Luke Waters comes back in. So there is a scope to bring a few harder bodies in. Also, we'll get Josh Cleaver, will play Dev League, and Finn Poke. So they're guys probably people don't know who they are, but they've done full solid pre-seasons, and that's what we need at this level, is guys that have done all the work so they can be competitive for a bit longer.
Trent, it must be not just a relief, but must be proud of the boys to get that maiden win today.
Yeah, like I think everyone says that first win's a bit of a reward for effort. So, we acknowledge that we have had a tough start, like playing North Lonnie and Lauderdale. We've played off in the last 2 grand finals, so. And I thought we were okay against them, probably not a 4-quarter performance. And I think the pleasing thing today, I think it really actually was a 4-quarter performance. Like, probably had a couple little lapses here and there, but generally, yeah, we played a full game of footy, which is pleasing.
It must be good, like you said, to put in that 4-quarter effort, but also to hit the scoreboard, to hit the ton after just under that total from the previous 2 games.
Yeah, 100%. I thought, and that started with our defensive actions. I think we held them not scoreless, but they didn't kick a goal in the second and third quarter. We conceded a couple in the last quarter when a little bit of heat went off things. But yeah, to actually put some score on the board, like you look down the list, there's a lot of multiple goal kickers, which was really good, something that we probably did lack in that and in the first couple of games. And I think that came down to our ball movement out of our pressure, which got us to a lot of repeat inside 50s, and yeah, we were able to capitalise, which was pleasing.
Looked like your midfield brigade really got on top today. Who were names or what impressed you about that group?
Yeah, I think, Kieran, obviously, Kieran was fantastic. I think from our live stats, and sometimes they can be a bit dicey, you generally like to go and look at the footage and then do it a bit properly, but we had him at 39 today. So Ryan Matthews, Lockie Clifford, he got a lot of the ball. Cliffy played a bit of a different role, a bit more outside on the wing. And we threw our debutants in there, like Paddy Kelly went in there, Alex Bessel went in there, and we didn't lose anything. And Sam Dygan rolling in there, and Lockie Watt as well. So we're actually able to get a lot of bodies through there, and Lockie Griggs too. They paid him a bit of attention, which is really good for Lockie. His first couple of weeks have been outstanding, and Nick Lee always does a great defensive job on whoever he's on. And we decided to put Lockie in on ball and see how he went in his second half, to handle it and work through it was really pleasing.
It was a bit of a physical game today. Do you guys sort of pride yourself on how you respond to any kind of physical pressure and then up it?
Yeah, well, that's what we talked about today. Today, it wasn't about anything pretty. We wanted to bring our pressure, and they're the things that don't take any talent. And we talked about it before the game, that we called them the head and heart things, like the things that no one really wants to do, but we just wanted to put maximum pressure on the ball carrier, not let them link up with 1-2s. I think we did a good job of that, sort of defending them like that. And I thought we set up really strongly behind the ball, like with Will Poland and Sam Rice. They had a specific role today, and I think they played it perfectly, and it allowed us to rebound whenever North Hobart got some inside 50 entries.
Sort of, I guess, in recent years, a lot of the Tigers goals have come from sort of big forward targets. Obviously, you brought in Mickey Paul, but it must be great to see blokes like Dygan and Gordon, being able to rely on them to finish when Mickey Paul's getting a fair bit of attention.
Yeah, 100%. We thought probably an area we identified all across the ground that we'd fallen down on in the first 2 weeks was front and centre work, which is basic stuff. You learn that stuff in Auskick and juniors. So I thought, those crumbing goals, like getting our smalls at the feet of the contest. And if we don't win it, they put on really good pressure. Like, Lockie Watt's tackle numbers would have been pretty high today. And for Digger to, kick 4 goals, Bailey Gordon 2 goals early, it was really good. And it was great for Bailey as well. Hopefully that puts Bailey on the radar. He's part of the Devils program, and we'd love to see him up playing with them. So hopefully, that gives him, puts him under their nose, and he gives himself a chance to play for them next week.
That's it. You've got the annual Anzac Day clash against Glenorchy at KG5. A game performance like today, like you said, the 4-quarter effort must have you buoyant. Looking forward to that game on Thursday. Yeah,
we just briefly talked about it. Good Friday's a big occasion, and then going out and playing on Anzac Day, it's going to be pretty tough. It'll be our second 5-day break, and Glenorchy's had the bye this week. So, but we want to play in those games. We want to play in those moments, because, it's the only way you get better as a footy club is to test yourself. And Glenorchy are flying at the moment. They're playing really good footy. They're really up and about with their centennial year, and, they're going to make a big deal out of Anzac Day, as it does. It deserves to be made a big deal of. And, we're just honoured to play our part and play on that game. And, we just want to put in a really good performance, so the recovery will be paramount over the next few days to give ourselves the best opportunity to go in there and crack in against a really good team.